Hello, BookTube. Welcome back to AusBooks, where I'm just talking about random Australian books I own. It's a daily thing, it's chronological, and we're still in the mid 1850s ish. Or now we're moving into the 1860s, but I thought we would do a bit of a throwback and talk about some travel writings because we started off with that and it's been a while. And I thought, who better to bring back the travel writings than the one, the only John McDowell Stuart? This is Explorations in Australia, and it's an absolute classic. This is just the Project Gutenberg copy. You can find it anywhere. It's so prehistorically old by this point. But you may be wondering, who is John McDowell Stuart? Well, he is Australia's greatest explorer, hands down, outside of the first colonies and all that, like Flinders. I don't even know what to say, where to start with him. He had six major expeditions across Australia from 1858 to 1862. He faced so much. We're talking grueling weather, scurvy. He nearly went blind. And just many of the expeditions, when you look into them, realized he realized he had to stop and turn back most of the time because it was just too much. And he became the first explorer to travel from the south to the north of Australia. And he also mapped out major parts of South Australia and the Northern Territory, which we use later on for trams and all that stuff that would develop later on. And I think what's interesting about him the most is over his six expeditions, he had 33 companions with him. Again, it started off as two, but then would slowly move up to 12 people later on the expeditions. No one died. That is crazy. He took pride in the fact that he cared for the people who he traveled with. Obviously, they got sick and everything, but no one died, which you can't say for some other explorations we're going to be talking about soon. And it's just incredibly interesting how much he cared for his companions. And throughout all of his journeys, he wrote everything down. He just wrote journals. And I will say, he's very much, if I had to compare him to like another travel writer in Australia's history, it is really Captain Cook because they're both just as detailed oriented. John's talking about landscapes, the water they have, the longitudes, the flora and fauna. And he doesn't shy away from the brutality of the travels he went on. He talks about all the tolls physically and obviously mentally this took on him, which would, talk about his headaches and blindness, and just all the scurvy he had. And it's just incredibly interesting. I love his journals. This is going to be a quick video because it's such an easy recommendation for me. They can be dry and tedious at times. Again, this edition here is just under like 500-ish pages, but you'll fly through them. Again, if you can do Cook's journals, you can easily do John's. Yes, it could be edited down, but I kind of like it, to be honest. It really pulls you in, if you would. And his travel logs are just essential reading for me when it comes to classic Australian nonfiction. It's a shame he's out of print, I will say. It's very antique now to find him. And he needs a new biography because there probably was one like 80 years ago. But I think he deserves another one. Put him back in print and republish his journals, especially if someone like Text Classics or Text Publishing could easily do a cheap volume of him because all his stuff's in the public domain. But yeah, that's your AusBook recommendation. A bit of a short one, but because there's not much to say because it's kind of travel writings. But yeah, it's John McDowell Stuart. Do a bit of a Wikipedia of him before you go in, just to know what you're going into when it comes to his achievements, so you can get like a better view of him. But I would easily put him up there with like Matthew Flinders as one of the great explorers. We'll talk about a certain two gentlemen soon who you may think of first when it comes to Australian explorers, but we'll get to that. But yeah, an essential read in my opinion. Go read John McDowell Stuart if you can find him. Go get him off Gutenberg and have some fun if you like travel writing. But yeah, thank you so much for watching BookTube, and I will see you next time.